Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be a little bit different video than what I usually do. You're going to see it's kind of pieced together. And what I want to do here is to give you an idea of what my week looks like as a psychiatric nurse practitioner student doing clinical rotations. So hang on, we're going to get started. Hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Rick. I'm a registered nurse and a PMHNP student. In this channel, I try to relay my experiences going through Psychiatric Nurse Practitioner School so that you can learn from what I'm experiencing, my challenges, and just some of the tips and tricks I've learned to make it go a lot more successful. So this is my 5th semester. I have 2 more semesters to go. This is also the first semester where I am doing clinical rotations, actually seeing psychiatric patients. So before I jump into this too much, let me just back up a little bit. I've already been in school for maybe a year and 3 months, something like that. So this is the first time I'm actually getting out and seeing patients. Heck, it wasn't even until my 4th semester that I got into psychiatric specific coursework. So this has been a very exciting semester. It's also been probably one of the toughest semesters that I've had to deal with from a time management standpoint. So let me give you a little example of what I've got going this semester and then how that feeds into this video, which is a week in the life type of video. So in the semester, I have essentially 2 classes. One is an instructor-led class where we're learning about different psychiatric disorders, medications, and things like that. That's kind of a traditional class. We have tests, exams in that. We have work that has to be done. We have discussion posts that we have to write and things like that. My other class is my clinical rotation. And it's not just about showing up at a clinical site and visiting patients. Believe me, there's way more to it. In fact, this semester has probably been the most time compressed and stressful semester I've had so far. Because we're not just going to clinical sites and seeing patients. Every patient that we see, we have to do a write-up about. We have to put that into a third-party system that our school uses. We have to keep track of all of our hours that we're with them. We have to keep track of all of our patients. And it's not just the number of patients, it's the kinds of patients. So for instance, in my program, I have to have a certain number of pediatric patient encounters. I have to have a certain number of young adult or adult patient encounters. I have to have a certain number of geriatric patient encounters. So I can't just sit down with one group of people and knock it all out. It has to be among that mix as well. So that's proven a little bit of an administrative nightmare to keep all of that straight. But at the same time, I've got that other class going. At the same time, I have a weekly quiz I have to take in my clinical rotations class. I have 2 very major tests to take, knowledge-based tests, in that clinical rotations class. I also have to arrange conference calls between my instructors and my preceptors. They have evaluation forms to fill out. And while all of that is going on, I'm looking for and securing preceptors for the next semester. So on top of that, I'm working. On top of that, I have family commitments. And on top of that, I have a couple side businesses that I'm running as well. And in there, you've got to fit in studying for those exams, you've got to fit in the administrative part, and you've got to fit in the time that you spend at your clinical sites. So let me tell you, all of that together has been way more challenging to manage than I really thought it would be. Well, let me dig a little bit deeper into my clinical rotations right now to give you an idea of what I'm working with. I actually have 2 preceptors and 2 clinical sites. That's not unusual, but it's not very common, I'm finding, a lot in nurse practitioner school, at least in psychiatric nurse practitioner school. One of my clinical sites is a behavioral health clinic, and I work with a psychiatric nurse practitioner there. I am there either 1 or 2 days a week. More often it's 2 full days a week. that I'm at that site. And we see anywhere from 8 to 12 patients each day at those sites. My other clinical site is a hospital, not a psychiatric hospital, but a regular medical surgical hospital. And my preceptor there is a consulting psychiatrist. This is a psychiatrist who has his own practice, but does consulting work for the hospital because the hospital does not staff any type of full-time or even part-time psychiatric staff. So I get a call, like I did about an hour ago, that we're going to meet at the hospital because we have 2 new patients. These aren't necessarily psychiatric patients, although we do get some of those. A lot of the patients are patients who have come into the hospital for a medical reason, and for whatever reason, the attending physician for that patient feels that there needs to be a psychiatric consult, and that's where we come in for that. But there are psychiatric patients. Some patients are there because they're in an extremely depressive state and that has deteriorated their health. Some are there for suicidal ideation. Some are there for overdose. Some are there just because they had perhaps a manic episode and became very aggressive, or they're schizophrenic and became very psychotic. So we have a mix of those as well. And our role is to go in, assess the patient, and get an understanding of what might be going on from a psychiatric standpoint, and then advise the attending physician about the next steps. So this has been a very interesting rotation. I just had a call from my precepting psychiatrist about a half hour ago. We have 2 new patients today. So that's why I'll be leaving here as soon as I press the pause button on this video to go up there and take care of that. So I'm getting ready to head out for that. Like I said, this will be pieced together. This is on a Thursday, late Thursday afternoon. So I'm going to take you all the way to the next Thursday in this video and give you some tidbits, some more longer periods, some shorter, of what I'm doing throughout the week. So you've got a great idea of what it's like to spend a week as a psychiatric nurse practitioner student. So I hope you stay with me for the whole video. All right, so it's about 9:17 in the evening. I got back from our clinical appointments at the hospital, had 2 new patients, and we followed up on 2 others. Came home, had some dinner. Now I'm sitting here at my desk in my office, and I just spent about the last, 30 minutes or so inputting all of those patients into the record-keeping system that I have to use for my school. It takes me about maybe 8 minutes for each patient that I put in. So even after you finish a clinical day of seeing 10, 11, or 12 patients, you still have at least an hour and a half of just input that you have to do of their information. You've got to write a real brief SOAP note about each patient and so on. So I'm going to call it a night because I've got to get up about 5 o'clock tomorrow morning to make my way to my second clinical site, which I'll spend all day. That's the behavioral health clinic. So I'll give you an update on that tomorrow. Well, good morning. It's a little bit after 6 on Friday morning. I am headed out now to my day of clinical rotations at the behavioral health clinic. It's about an hour away from where I live, so I have about an hour drive here. Usually on the drive, I'll listen to audio recordings of my lectures so that I can get a little bit of study time, so to speak, in this drive. I have a full day today. First patient is at 7:30, and it's about every half hour with a half-hour break for lunch up until 4 o'clock this afternoon, then another hour drive back. So, of course, I can't take you into my clinical appointments. You probably understand that, but I'll have an update for you later this afternoon once I get back and finished. All right, well, it's about 4:30. We just finished up the day of my clinical rotation here at the behavioral health clinic. We had, I think, 12 patients scheduled. 2 of them were no-shows, which is not unlikely. So it was a good day. I did most of the initial
conversations with the patients, mostly the initial psychiatric assessments, along with my preceptor who added some questions. Then we would go back to the office and talk about, what kind of treatment, medications, and things like that we're going to do. And that's pretty much how it usually goes at this behavioral health clinic. So I've got me an hour drive to do to get home, have a little dinner, and then I'll sit down and start putting patients into the system that we have to record all our patients in for the school, and our SOAP notes for each of the patients as well. So kind of how the day goes when you're doing your clinical rotations. So tomorrow we'll update you on what's happening on Saturday. Okay, well, welcome to my Saturday morning. As you could probably tell, Saturday today is going to be a shift in the ER. It's about 10 after 6 right now. I'm getting ready to go in and start that rolling. Fortunately, today I only have a 9-hour shift. I'll be able to leave at 3, and that means I hope I can get about an hour or so of some book studying done this afternoon, but we'll see how that goes. So again, a week in the life. This day is going to have me working in the ER. All right, so we're all finished with the shift in the ER, and wasn't too bad. Today was surprisingly a slower day than most days are in the ER. I really enjoy working in the ER. It's the only job I've ever had as a nurse. But also being a student and now seeing patients in nurse practitioner school, I just kind of have the feeling I just want to get it over with. And I feel sometimes like I'm not wasting my time, but that I could spend my time doing things in the ER that are a little more, or doing things that are a little more productive with the time that I'm in the ER. But hey, you still got to earn a living, right? So I really encourage all of you that are going to be working full time and go to NP school, because it's a challenge. So I'm going to go home, decompress a little bit, and then probably get an hour or so of some study in before sitting down and settle down with my wife this evening. See you tomorrow. Hey, welcome back. It's about 2:30 here on Sunday afternoon, and about to hit the books now. This morning got up about 6:15, had a few things to get taken care of. We had some errands to run today, and now it's time to spend a little bit in psychiatric nurse practitioner stuff. I've got both my books up here on the screen. I've got another lecture to go through today, be making notes through that. I also kick off every study session with a quiz in my PMHNP application, and then I have some flashcards I always go through in osmosis. So I'll probably spend the first hour just doing that, getting refreshed and renewed. One of the great things about certainly the PMHNP system is that it has a spaced repetition algorithm that brings up questions, brings up facts in a way that helps me remember the things I have to remember, because it keeps track of what I get right, what I get wrong, and then programs that for me. So link to that down below if you're interested in something like that. So we're just going to do some stuff for probably 2 or 3 hours here on Sunday afternoon. Then I'll probably knock off for the rest of the evening, have some dinner, get to bed early so I can get up, do a workout, and get back into it tomorrow. All right. So I will check in with you tomorrow, which will be Monday. Well, hello. It is Monday morning, and we're continuing in my week in the life while I am in PMHNP school and going through clinical rotations. Today has not started off the way I expected it to begin. I had a whole day planned. Today I'm not scheduled for clinical rotations. So this is what I would call a study day, where I'm going to really focus on some of the lectures, flashcards, going through my PMHNP spaced repetition quizzes, and going through some of my osmosis lessons as well, and links to all that below. But I was just about to get my gym clothes on to go work out at about, I guess it was 20 till 6 this morning, and I got a text from my psychiatrist that I'm precepting with at the hospital,
who said, we have a new patient, meet him there at 7 a.m. So that threw the whole workout for the morning out the window. I hurried and got ready and drove on up to the hospital. I usually try to get there about 30 minutes earlier than we're going to meet so I can look up the patient records and get an idea of what's going on. And we ended up seeing one new patient, and then we followed up with 5 other patients. So in the space of about 2 hours, I got another 6 patient encounters, which was nice. And that's kind of the nature of that particular clinical rotation, which is a psychiatric consultation. I may have mentioned he just goes to the hospital when he's called for consultations, and we don't always know. So we knew this morning about 5:30. He let me know, and I met him up there. I tell you, the working with him has been a fantastic experience in my clinical rotations, because it's really taught me how to get down to the heart of the matter with patients. We don't have a lot of time unless it's a brand new patient, and even then we don't have a lot of time to do this full-blown psychiatric assessment. We know why they're there. More often or not, it's due to overdose or suicidal ideation. And then we're able to kind of hone in on that and get the background on that. 2 books that and 2 resources that have really saved my life during clinical rotation. The first one is this one here, Psychiatric, I don't know if you can see that well enough, Psychiatric NP. This is NP notebook. This is where I record all of my notes for my patient encounters. It is segmented, so I don't know if you can tell right here. It is segmented for all the different steps of the psychiatric evaluation. I put everything in here. The other book that has been great and a super help has been this one right here, Medication Fact Book for Psychiatric Practice. It's a quick reference guide. It also has algorithms on how to treat different conditions. So that has been a lifesaver. And usually what I'll do when I get to the hospital is I will look up the patient. I'll look and see what history they have, what their situation is. I'll begin to start thinking there about medications that I might prescribe for the situation as it appears in the record. That's probably going to change as we do our evaluation. But this book here really helps me dig into the algorithm of how I would treat that situation. And then it has medication facts, dosages, indications, contraindications, black box warning, everything about all the different psychiatric medicines that I would use. So that's a real help. So here I'm back home now after being at the hospital. Got a lot of notes here in my H&P notebook that I'm going to input into our school system, which is required to record all of our patient encounters. I got to write a brief SOAP note for each one of the patients that I saw. Then I will get to my workout, and then after that it'll be lectures, reading, and flashcards. That'd be pretty much the rest of the day. So hey, I hope this is helpful. If you got any questions about anything I'm talking about, feel free to put them down in the comments. If you're a member of the channel, then you know I always answer any comments that are questions that are asked as well. Also, if you're not yet a member of our community, please think about joining. It's just a group of interested psychiatric and nurse practitioner students that we communicate primarily via email. I've got a lot of resources that I've put together in my school and for my school that you'll have access to as well. There are cheat sheets, notes, things like that that I use. So please consider doing that.
Okay, so an update to the last segment that I just recorded. I was down at the gym. I was on my last set of my workout, and I got a text. This was around noon. I got a text from the psychiatrist I'm precepting with, who said, I will be at the hospital at 12:45. And so I quickly finished that set, ran home. Fortunately, my gym is in my neighborhood, and I'm only about 3 miles from the hospital. Ran home, got dressed, and got back up to the hospital because we had 2 new patients to see. Now, this isn't how every single clinical rotation goes. It's just the nature of consulting psychiatry. My preceptor has his own practice, and whenever he gets a consult from one of the doctors at the hospital, he tries to fit it in as best he can. He just so happened to have time this afternoon to do that. So that's why we went up there. So just kind of a funny little story to go along with clinical rotation, but you've got to make yourself available to get the hours in and get the patients seen. And these were two really good patients to see today. Well, it's about 6:15 on Wednesday morning, back in the ER today. Got to do the job, I guess. Yesterday, Tuesday, I had planned it to be a pretty solid study day, but things didn't work out quite that way. One of the things you'll realize when you're doing clinical rotations is there's way more administrative work that has to be done than you probably realize. For instance, yesterday, in addition to inputting patients, writing SOAP notes, I had to spend time filling out some evaluation forms, midterm evaluation forms that they want my preceptors to complete. Of course, I had to email them off to the preceptors. They're due Saturday, so hopefully they'll have time to get those done for me. And then I had to spend time getting preceptors lined up for next semester, and which would be, for me in my program where I'm at with it right now, would be the summer semester. And believe it or not, they want me to go ahead and give them the preceptor list that I'm going to use for the fall semester already. So I back and forth. One of my preceptors for this semester is going to be a preceptor for me next semester, but I still had to go back and forth with some others to try to have them sign up to do it as well. And of course, when you have preceptors, the school wants you to have a contract with the preceptor, or the school has to have a contract with the preceptor. The school has to have a contract with the facility. And some they already have contracts with, but not all of them. And for whatever reason, my school won't tell you who they have contracts with. Now, you can call them and say, hey, do you have a contract with so-and-so? And they'll tell you yes or no. But I don't know why it's a big mystery. They just won't give you a list of everybody that they have a contract with. So in any event, I'm here getting ready to walk in to start my 12-hour shift in the ER, and if I have time, I'll check back in with you this evening when I get done. Well, what a day it was yesterday in the ER. It was very eventful, and I tell you, I was worn out when I got home. Today is Thursday. This is, I guess, about a week now since I started this series, so this will kind of cap it off. No clinical today. Today was a study day, and I got through several of my lectures. And what I'm on the way to now is a dinner. One of the pharmaceutical companies invited my preceptor and myself to a dinner to learn about one of their drugs. So I'm headed over there to do that now. That should be, I guess it's a little bit before 6. I think it starts at 6. That'll probably be over about 8 or so, and then I'll head on back home. To bed early. I do want to check. Tomorrow's a full clinical day in the behavioral health clinic. So I do want to check on what patients we have scheduled. I know we have a new patient, a 12-year-old girl with a very interesting history that'll be coming in. So we'll be working on that, and that's about it for a week in my life as a PMHNP student. All right, got questions? Please put them in the comments. I answer all of them. If not, if you're part of our community, you certainly know how to email me, and get a hold of me that way. If you're interested in joining the community, you can click in the link below, and that will get you connected there. You also have access to all of the resources that I've put together that I'm using in school as well. And as always, hey, it's a big help if you can like and subscribe the video, because that helps to get out to other students and people that might need some guidance or just want to know what's going on. All right. Thanks, guys, for bearing with me. It's kind of a unique video, I know, and we'll see you in the next one.